Braum as well. I mean, they, I guess, could have gone for the Braum in the 3rd place, but you don't feel fantastic about that. Doesn't help you against things like the Equalizer.
No, exactly.
So the Alice are going to be taken away here by DRX. We'll see whether Rakan gets a look at. I thought that Delight actually played a fantastic Rakan in Game 1. But might not be something that Fredit Brion want to go towards, as see where this ban is going to go. The Gnar still available for Hoya and could really be the pick to come through in 4th spot, really keeping things open as far as that bottom lane, allowing Delight to get the best pick possible. They're going to ban the Akali though. Let's see where DRX go with their final ban.
Wouldn't mind a Rakan ban. The only threat is that then the Leona gets banned away and then you don't have an amazing support to go with your... Okay, we'll be the Leona ban instead. Yeah, because now you can pick up the Rakan here as Fredit Brion, and then as DRX, like, what do you do?
I feel like DRX want Rakan.
Well, yeah, but I think Fredit Brion can pick it away here, is my point.
Yeah, potentially. I was kind of expecting this, like I mentioned earlier on. And of course, it's Hoya, right? So that's why the Gnar does spike in the priority. And also, getting counterpick for your bottom lane is something that Fredit Brion have done in the past.
Don't mind it. I think that while the Gnar is strong, and it works really well in this team composition, it's a comfort pick for Hoya. You kind of know the direction that DRX is going with a Kalista lane. There's not as much possibility, but it is DRX, so maybe it's actually Rumble support. Who knows? We have not seen their shenanigans for a while. There's the shenanigans.
Support, I like it. This is something that Carrier really liked to play, but of course, could be Nico anywhere, as it turns out. In fact, Nocturne's a flex, Rumble's a flex, Nico's a flex, Set's a flex, Kallista's going bottom lane. That's what we know. Well, I mean, technically, Kallista's a flex too, if we remember back to last year, as Lee Sin will be locked in. So still, I have absolutely no idea where anything's going. Let's see what Fredit Brion make of this.
And I quite like the pickup of the Nico here, but I don't think it really dissuades you from going Rakan.
Yeah.
It is really nice into the Varus. Varus is not going to have a fun game, but honestly, yeah, the Nico into a short-range dive composition, I like it. I think it can work out very well. Your zone control as DRX is simply disgusting between Paranoia and the Equalizer and Nico ultimate combo, but it still comes down to play. And when it comes to play at Fredit Brion, there's a lot of comfort here. Ante has already shown how good he is at the Diana. Hoya on one of his most trademark champions. Lav on a pick can get free prio. Hand and the Light playing the same thing. Makes me go, I think it's a draft diff for DRX. I don't know if it will be enough.
That's the biggest problem here for DRX and DRX fans, is that even if the draft looks decent on paper, the nameplates speak louder in a lot of these cases. But we don't know, and of course, DRX have been able to beat Fredit Brion in the past, and it was not that long ago that they did find that success. So let's see whether that happens once again, as I do like the draft. I think it's really fun out of this squad, and we know that Nocturne is ridiculously powerful right now. Lee Sin on the opposite side of that spectrum when it comes to this particular patch in a solo lane, but that's okay. Let's see whether it works out better this time around, as Lava on his rise, very comfortable here, and going to give them a little bit more staying power when it comes to the later stages of the game, of course. Here we go, onto the rift for game number 2, DRX against Fredit Brion, really wanting to get to 2 and 10 outside of 1 and 11. That's way too many ones. They're already binary, but with just ones, just doesn't feel great. As that's not Jet, that is of course Jun, as I'm gonna have to get my head around the fact that we have a Nico back in the game.
Doesn't happen often.
No.
Fortunately for us casters. Although actually I really like to see Nico. It's a really fun champion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
In this scenario, wondering the impact that it will have into more linear engage, it is quite nice. And if I look at where you expect the junglers to go, what pathing can we see and come out? Pioshik looks to be hovering towards top side. Not sure if he wants to go for maybe a cheeky invade on the Raptors. He's going to go instead for a leashless start on, I think, his own wolves. Would make the most sense. I'm going to go for blue. Well, that's with new Rumble. You know, there's no W level 1 anymore. Not great. Doesn't feel amazing. So King also looking for cheese damage, but
didn't actually see what actually happened there. As of course we're checking out Lava and Jet here in the mid lane. As we're going to have a look at some of these win rates again. Not exactly the greatest of times, but bottom side of the map. Some brand new picks. We asked them whether they could bring out some new stuff for us, and that is what they've given us. Hannah here, the win rate on the Varus looking pretty nice, to be perfectly honest, 7-3.
His positioning has been super solid. Even in the last game, I feel like Varus has become kind of a stand-in for these compositions where you can basically go in two directions. You can go for the Kai'Sa and have a cohesive composition, or you can go for the Varus, have more lane pressure, and post-laning phase just like, yeah, you'll be fine. Good luck. We're gonna dive. You know, you take care of the cats. You stay here, and leave it at that. As nice tracking, King using his prio.
Yeah, gonna get a ward over towards these Krugs.
Wow.
And yeah, Umpty well and truly known about. Here as we are going to continue pushing on the bottom side, and that's exactly what DRX can afford to do, knowing that there is no ability for any sort of gank attempt or anything like that. However, the trade back as far as the poke is concerned, working out here for Henna, as Snare is going to miss from Jun as well. We're just throwing abilities left, right, and center, and not necessarily finding all that much joy, but it is still working out for DRX regardless.
And then the Raptor ward was, of course, spotted, as there was already a ward there for Fredit Brion. However, ward on Krugs, not the case. And Umpty also went for a different pathing here, maybe looking for specific timing on the gank on Kingen with the Wolves that he left alive. As this is interesting, going for a play together with Lava here, might have an early skirmish here already.
Yeah, Pyoshik possibly in trouble. Well, not really Pyoshik, as John's going to be able to find the Blooming Burst, but it looks like it's Hannah that's in trouble. Delight going to get the Battle Dance as Taeyoon is just going to guarantee that it's DRX that collect themselves the Rift Scuttler, and the top one going to be taken here is Umpty in trouble as Jets found him down to 250. Is Umpty. He's going to be able to make it out to relative safety, but these lanes are in shambles right now for Fredit Brion.
Perfect use of the priority from DRX. I think it was King who picked up that topside scuttle, which means that there is now level 3 for Umpty. About the worst possible start that you can imagine. Umpty comes there like, oh man, that's really bad. As his wolves got invaded.
Everything's just empty.
Yeah, and it's a pathing that Umpty took there, right? Like you skip your wolves to maybe look for a different timing on a topside gank and then go from there, something Umpty has done before. We'll be able to pick up a Krug, which at the very least is something. It's not great, might be able to pick up Raptors as well if Lava goes for a tempo teleport here, so will make his situation a little bit less horrible, but still not even going to go for Wolves. Not great, and it's those early wards and the early prio that was found by King and Jet, utilizing the vision. That vision then turned into pressure together with Taeyoon and Jun. Very nicely done early game here from DRX. 1k gold lead at 5 minutes. Great start.
Things looking great. Tanglebarb's even connecting here onto Delight on the bottom side. As Henna now just tries to trade back, and it's not the same level of pressure that we saw from the Varus in the last game. This is great news for DRX, as these pierces have actually been really good from Taeyoon. Shape Splitter coming on through here, and Nico continuing to be frustrating, as the poke advantage is just in full display right now, as Control Ward going to be taken away here by Pyoshik, as Hoya is going to rotate down, and Pyoshik's being very frustrating. Boomerang will connect there as it does return. Pyoshik is going to blast cone his way over. Hoya almost causing him to not be able to utilize it to that effect. Still going to be fine, as Kingan's going to push this wave towards Hoya, who will gladly collect it for himself.
And now we have a more traditional game state that we have often seen for Fredit Brion, where they find themselves at an early deficit, whereas DRX, nice first back there for Pyoshik, able to pick himself up the Sorcerer Boots and immediately utilizing those, maybe an early Drake, within the realm of possibilities. He had 2 wards put down. And these 2 control wards mean that Kingen can keep exerting the pressure that the Nocturne pick has.
Yeah.
As I don't think you can go for this Drake, Fredit Brion. Not this one.
But it is a dragon, so you kind of expect Fredit Brion to go for this.
You do, don't you?
Yeah, it's sort of my feeling is Pyoshik not actually going to start it off as Jun's here in the mid lane, just trying to get that prio as there's the grand entrance. Taeyoon's going to have to flash and look to use that Martial Poise to get himself out of there, and he does so, but that is now flashed down for the Kalista.
Hadn't even talked about that, but Taeyoon going for cleanse into a Rakan, not the best, as you cannot cleanse knockups naturally. It still provides you some utility with the quickness and I guess against maybe
Chains of Corruption is pretty good there too, I guess.
It's okay. But I'm not the biggest fan. If I look, because there's so many knockups, right? Like Moonfall knocks you up. Pretty sure that the Mega Gnar, another knockup.
Well, Jet's rotating down. That's Jun flashing on in as the Fate's Call does get them out of there. The Equalizer, not to do so much just yet as Umpty gets to the relative safety of the turret. Q connects there by Jet, but he doesn't want to do it. And DRX flobbing that one just a little bit. However, they don't lose anyone for it.
I think one of the teleports comes through. There's nowhere for you to actually go for it. Hoya!
Yeah, big old crush there as Hoya is going to get King and does have the spell shield. Keep himself somewhat alive, avoids the house there, and now the Wallop comes in. There's the Paranoia that gets the return flash out of the Gnar as Hoya does slightly overextend for that. A little bit dicey up there towards the top side of the map, however, everything's all right. 1,000 gold the lead for DRX though, and they are showing signs of life. They even take a Drake away from our Dragon Slayers.
Another wave goes into the turret. Hannah and the Light. Last game, they didn't get punished for the Rakan and Varus lane. However, this time, 700 gold lead.
Yeah.
And this also ties into when we saw Hannah and the Light roam towards that Rift Scuttler earlier on. It was with the push from Taeyoon and June. They shoved the wave into the turret, and Hannah and the Light left regardless. It's a Fredit Brion staple, because this is a team that loves playing for each other, right? Like, they're a very cohesive unit. We always credit them for that. But in this scenario, it's led to an incredible advantage for Taeyoon early on here. And it is fortunate that the rest of the lanes are still doing well, because if all lanes get this far behind, it would be a really rough position to come back from as Fredit Brion.
Jun makes his way back down towards the bottom side as Umpty as well is doing his very best to try and catch back up. Will be able to get himself a Rift Scuttler, and that is good news. As Delight rotates over. And Umpty is going to pay a bit of a visit here as, okay, let's see whether they can keep themselves alive. Fate's Call not available. Shape Splitter is going to allow Jun to avoid the Chains of Corruption. Umpty is still here. The Rift Herald going to be taken in trade, and if the bottom lane stays alive for DRX, this is absolutely massive value. Pop Blossom's still up, as Fredit Brion will push another wave towards this turret. And no joy on the gank, so they will give up the Rift Herald, not get too much for it.
Was expecting Lava, and this is really good defensive play from DRX, because you saw Lava was standing towards his own river. He was looking for maybe an angle. Can you go for the Realm Warp? However, Jed aggressively went to shove in that lane, and that means that you can't really follow up. The teleports being available for both King and Jed also mean that you know the moment you actually go for that play as Fredit Brion, you will get punished. Teleports are very likely, and you can't really respond with your own teleport and or Realm Warp unless you've already executed that because of the Nocturne. So just nice early play here from DRX, playing around the pressure that the lane provides. Taeyoon and June not disrespecting. And more early leads getting picked up here with the 2 plates that Herald is going to give them.
Yeah.
Looking great in the early game.
Really good. Umpty's going to move on in here, sweeps out this ward, as Jun's going to avoid absolutely everything. A little bit awkward there for Fredit Brion as Shape Splitter comes out yet again. And DRX will just crash another wave towards this turret. Pyoshik now with Herald in hand, looking to see where he wants to put that one down. And yeah, Fredit Brion looking like a shadow of the Game 1 selves in this particular game.
Ties into what we've seen from Fredit Brion before, where if they're the ones making the play, setting the tempo to look incredible, but defensively, a whole nother game to play.
Certainly is. And Shelly is going to pop down here on the bottom side. That's a grand entrance on Taeyeon, who is going to throw out that cleanse that we were talking about earlier. They do grab the plates, though, as Jet's going to rotate down. Minute and a half on the Drake, so they're not exactly fighting for that one just yet. DRX just asserting their dominance, moving closer and closer towards a 2,000 gold lead pre-15 minutes. Great news here for our 1-10 team in the LCK.
Value paying off there. Nicely done. As they will be able to pick the plates. No first turret block just yet. Need to respect the fact that again, has read the play. Oh, this is, as you were saying, completely different DRX. Constantly up in their opponent's jungle. Continuously trying to deny camps. And it's a good gold lead. It's 1k at 12 minutes. It's not quite yet into... DRX can start to feel confident. And I'm happy to see that despite the fact that the gold lead hasn't ballooned yet, they haven't found first blood yet, they're still continuously looking for more. They're pushing the leads. Because Fredit Brion does have a composition where no matter what the game state is, honestly, if they ever get a quickness into Meganar, into Moonfall, you just lose, right? So you need to be ready for that.
Well, there's the kick flash as Lava's trying to escape, but he's not going to be able to. First blood goes over to Jet. A much better look here for the DRX mid laner, and DRX as a whole, they are continuing all of this pressure. They'll grab themselves the first turret as well, and DRX's snowball, it's looking real good.
It's happening. It is off the back of some really strong picks. In this particular case, the Nocturne. They've basically been setting the pace ever since level 1. Lava has the flash available, doesn't see the play coming, and then gets blown up. Very nicely done there by Jet, one who sets that entire play in motion. Pioshik just has to help him out a little bit, you know, barbecue it up. And now, with the first turtle bot as well, Lava relegated to the side lane, but side laning into a Nocturne with how well and proactive the DRX have been playing up to this point, kind of terrifying, which is why he's standing very close near his own turret, even with the vision that they have in the bot side jungle.
Yeah, this is it's really not working for Fredit Brion. Lava, of course, could have flashed, but with kick flash, you can't flash after he actually gets in range. So had to do it quite early in order to make that one work, but just didn't manage to do so as the fear is going to go off there. On to Hoya, who is still able to get some shove here in this lane. Has his steel caps completed now as well. It's going to be very valuable against the Kalista, Lee Sin, and Nocturne in this game. And Lava is continuing to get some farm, although he is behind Jet after that death in the mid lane.
That's the second Drake coming through.
It is going to be the Infernal as well. So once again, we dodge the clouds. And this is going to mean that if DRX continue to stack these up, there is just not very many hopes for Fredit Brion. They're going to have to get their dragon killing ways well and truly back in order. As Lava underneath an inner turret, suffering against all of this pressure. Hoya behind the top lane outer is able to at least do something, but DRX, they're unrelenting. It's just continuous pressure here. I love to see it.
It's very, very well done. Fredit Brion not really finding any play to regain tempo, and I don't think they need to yet, even though it's looking, as we can see, great for DRX, continuous leads everywhere. I think if you try and force now, you lose all control of the game, whereas now you still have a semblance of it. As the first Mythic spikes, all available for DRX. As
Yeah, King in some trouble now as he's held onto it, but the spell shield, I don't know when it was supposed to come in there, as Jet teleported in as well. That is absolutely not what you want, as Fredit Brion are going to be able to get 2 swift kills. Now Delight looking for another, as maybe it's just all falling apart for DRX. The flash over from Lava. Now the Rise is getting fed. It's a double kill, in fact. As Jun, thankfully, that was the shape splitter, as 3 dead. And just as we were getting optimistic, Fredit Brion land a big blowback.
Haven't even finished my sentence yet, Atlas.
Oh, no.
Oh, Fredit Brion. I thought that we were going to wait a little bit longer. Maybe when has the Protobell available and is actually ready to go in, you know. Maybe when Hoya finishes Divine Thunder, but no, they decide not to wait. They see an opportunity. Kingen gets taken down, and Kingen getting taken down is one thing. But DRX trying to maintain a semblance of control, go in, Pioshik throws his ultimate, and that is a
Yeah.
Rough blow to the gold lead, but a much rougher blow to just DRX, because this is where the sinking feeling gets you, where you're like, oh, not again.
Yeah.
As King, and the teleport should never be invested. No way did you ever get out of there, especially with teleport parity available.
I was waiting for the spell shield that whole time, and just couldn't find it as the equalizer was not able to help. And this is doubling down on a losing play, right? Like, if you see a Nocturne dying, you could then instead try to take down the mid outer turret or something like that. But wasn't really what they were able to do there, and decided instead to try and save Kingen, which did not work.
That's one of those plays where you go afterwards like, okay, maybe we can't cross-map, but no play is better than that play, unfortunately, and it's understandable. As DRX, you're trying to find a way to not only hold on to your lead, but actually enlarge it. But now the gold lead has shrunk to basically being irrelevant, right? Yes, you're still 2 Drakes up, and you have a great teamfight composition. And although I imagine as DRX players, this is where you're starting, okay, we need to maintain focus, because you're still fine. You still have a really strong composition. You have that Nocturne, that Paranoia, Pop Blossom, and Rumble Ultimate combination. Jet's decently fed, like, you're still fine. It's not the end of the world. You just need to make sure that Fredit Brion doesn't bait you into plays like that again.
Yeah, the problem that I see is sort of the mental aspect of it, right?
100%.
Like, as soon as you lose a play like that, we might just see DRX go back to their doing nothing play style that we saw in game number 1, which is absolutely not what we want to see. We want to see them continue to move forward. And yes, that topside play didn't work, but if at first you don't succeed, keep continuing to try to do stuff. Don't just passively lose the game. That is not what we want to see.
So far, doesn't look like that's what they're doing, so that's very good.
Yes.
That makes us happy. We want to see DRX set up here, and I think that even with the pressure that Fredit Brion had, Fredit Brion is going to want to look and find some poke, or at the very least vision, so they can get onto the back line. If it's DRX who's the one who set up the play, I think there is nothing that you can really do as Fredit Brion when you get engaged on. On the other end, DRX really need to play around the Mega Gnaw that is available here for Hoya. Hoya has been an expert in finding big flanks.
Oh yeah.
And if you ever get CC'd as DRX, that's basically the end of it. Because whereas your combo is very nice and it does a lot of damage, Fredit Brion's is very nice, does a lot of damage, and also kills your entire team if you ever stack up immediately.
Yes.
So that's scary to play into, and it's doable, but as you pointed out, these are humans playing. They're humans who are currently 1-11, players who try so hard only to see it fail every time, and then a play like this, even though you still have a gold lead, look at the scoreboard, you see 1 and 3.
That is Kingen taking a few turret shots there, or at least one, as he makes it out. As there's an equalizer thrown down. Moonfall onto 3, though, from Upti, who immediately goes gold. Big Pop Blossom, though, from Jonas. They turn it around. The Diana just explodes. The turret goes down as well, and DRX have found the team fight. I love it from these guys. Jungler now dead. That is going to be Soul Point going over to DRX.
Pivotal play, and Fredit Brion, after we give them a lot of credit rather, for being on the same page the entire game, that looked very disjointed. Umti goes in, and that's pretty much it. Hoya not in a position to actually do anything. DRX find all the damage that they have available in their comp, and now they're looking at Soul Point. Their gold lead is back, and it's a very necessary maintaining of the momentum.
Yeah, it's a big old flash there as we're looking to try and get Lava out to safety. He goes golden, but he's still dead. Kingen expertly tanks up the turret just to make sure that the rise is going to be taken, and oftentimes the stopwatch is enough to keep you alive. That time, it was not.
He turns it into a zone. It's fine. You can use it. It doesn't save you, I should point out. And this is the disjointed look that I was talking about. And it's because of that amazing equalizer. Henna and the Light are basically zoned from the start of the fight. So while Umti goes in and Hoya joins the fight at a later point, you need to wait for the teleport. You can't just go in like that on your own. Kingen stands around there a little bit longer to provide Jet the opportunity, then walks back, lets his buddy safeguard to him. Very nice team play there. And now, still almost a 3K gold lead, 3 dragons, and DRX. You have the sense of control, play it cleanly, and you really only need to win one team fight in like the next 15 minutes, and you're good. That's really it. When you look at the power of an Infernal Drake, especially with the composition that they have and the complete lack of tankiness from Fredit Brion.
Yeah, the Infernal Soul is likely to be the straw that breaks the camel's back in this particular game. As Pyosik just wandering around, they have complete control of this Baron area as well. The possibility to just start this one up if they'd like to. Remember the security that you provide with the Rend, if you can time it well with the Smite, is certainly going to be very, very powerful here for DRX. As Fredit Brion, not wanting to give anything away, looking to try and get themselves in for some vision. Control Ward goes down immediately, and DRX retain their Baron monopoly.
And while it generally isn't going to be super relevant, I still like the fact that as DRX, you know, you see that Infernal Drake, and you're like, oh, less walls for Hoya to slam us into. It's something.
Hey, that's true. That is true. It's a very anti-Nah Dragon.
It is. The bigger point, obviously, is that Soul is insane on this team, because Equalizer with a Soul is just going to, do horrible things to anyone on Fredit Brion. And Fredit Brion, if they don't have control of a location, it's really hard for them to walk up. They don't really have anyone who can face clear. You always run the risk of getting paranoid onto, and you cannot actually walk into choke points, right? Because if you try to walk into an objective and June is waiting there, or gets Fates called into you, King presses on, Pyosik uses his ultimate, like you just all die. You're just all gone. And that makes setting up for team fights actually kind of hard for Fredit Brion, because yes, they have a good team fight composition, but without any control of the map, as they are now moving towards that bottom quadrant, I don't know if they can actually get anything on. As I say that, they're like, we can't. We need to respect. And with 2 minutes left on the Drake, DRX, I think, can just shove in the waves, take control of the bot side, and have the easiest Drake fight of their lives, and then Fredit Brion try and overforce.
Yeah. Or, before the Drake even spawns, you can just start doing some fishing around this Baron pit, and that's precisely what they're doing. It's been a consistent fight for Baron control for the last few minutes, with Henna just catching waves where he can. It's not actually taken, as of course that's Jun, but given away a little bit by the fact that you don't get the martial pose if you are the Kalista.
Like, wait, that looks wrong.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Wait, are we being bamboozled?
Yeah. Happy little bee. He's going to back off towards this Drake that's going to be spawning in 1 minute's time. Kingen splitting on the bottom side, has teleport paranoia combo available, and it means that the pressure that's put on Fredit Brion is just really difficult to deal with. It's not quite a 3,000 gold lead, but it feels like so much more.
You're also going to be, as Fredit Brion, looking for some backline dive, right? You want to get on top of people like Pyosik, June, and Taeyun, throw them into a wall and blow them up. There's a lot of stopwatches on the enemy team. There's 1 Zhonya's, 3 clocks, and that makes those kind of plays a lot harder. As June, presume his will be used offensively when he gets thrown into the entirety of Fredit Brion. Fredit Brion, though, are just going to be able to walk up and take control of the river.
Okay. Not sure whether that's a thing that should happen. However, it is a thing that is happening. Hoya, not a lot of Narbar right now. Decent time to fight for DRX if they can start it up, and they've got so many ways to do so, as well as it is going to be the river ram that we've expected so many times. In goes the paranoia, and now DRX have started off the fight. The Pop Blossom does absolutely nothing, though, as Jet gets a kick into the backline. Delight immediately with the quickness, though, as Henna is in trouble. Delight gets in there with a great knock-up, and it looks like DRX in the end are going to be able to just pile in and take down Fredit Brion. 4,000 gold, the Infernal Soul, and DRX will win this game, in my opinion. I mean, they're not going to do it right now, but I have a feeling that was it.
I don't know why you went back on that. I think you might just be right there, because you see how little damage Fredit Brion have available, and it is the payoff of DRX playing the early game so well, starting at like minute 3, when both their prio lanes walk in, get Umti behind, and what you see here is the payoff of the identification. Get Umti behind, and Fredit Brion doesn't look like a new get anything done. Yes, the flash away is nice, but the complete lack of damage. Hannah will not, or Hannah and the Light barely get anything done. Hoya gets a stun into the wall, but it's way too late. And it's because, as you pointed out, no Mega Bar, and they can just pull the trigger whenever they want, and they do. And it is a great look here for DRX in this second game. Complete pivot from game number 1.
I thought maybe we'd come back and see Delight, you know, get a Gleaming Quill Baron steal and then Fredit Brion win the game. That is backbreaking, by the way. If that was to actually happen, DRX,
I don't want to.
You're allowed to be as tilted as you want after that, and no one could blame you, but not going to happen. I only say it because I've seen Gleaming Quill steal a Baron before.
I think the worst one I've ever seen in... I don't remember what the context was. I think it might have been in the LEC, was where it was like the Orianna Q had a Luden's proc, and then that stole it.
Yeah, Luden stole a Baron. I've seen that one.
Yeah, I think that's the worst one.
I think Thresh Hooks stealing Drakes and Barons is also a little bit of a worry. That's not the real Pyosik.
Wasn't there a Jenna Tornado once upon a time, like a level 1 Jenna Tornado that stole one? I seem to recall.
Yep, that might have been Edward.
Could be.
For some reason, it makes me think of him, and I don't know why. Might have even been when he was actually Gosu Pepper back in the day.
Throwbacks.
We are definitely getting some throwbacks here. As Lava trying to do some damage to Jet, but Jet's going to go in and look for Lava, takes half of his health bar straight away. There's the Q. Landing in Lava will press his Zhonya's button. That's not Pyosik, as everyone is just taking too much damage and having to leave the area. DRX closing in on the base of Fredit Brion as 2 turrets fall very swiftly. This time Hoya has a Nabar. I just have a feeling it's too late.
Said earlier, not the biggest fan of delaying Lee Sin. Well, Jet, like this losing streak, guys, it's done. It's over. I'm not having it anymore because his performance thus far has been amazing. There comes the equalizer.
It's a bit zoning, as in goes John as well with another zoning ultimate. Umti going to be taking a lot of damage here, but it's the inhibitor turret that is the priority for DRX. I like it. Play it by the book, as now Hoya in a bit of trouble, gets tagged by the Q and the Fear. That is just going to guarantee that this inhibitor is taken down by DRX. Now they'll turn their attention towards the top side.
And as Fredit Brion, you're looking at this game, and I think the Baron steal was actually, you know, the Gleaming Quill Baron steal might have been the highest, like, chance of it working out. Now it's going to be a Gleaming Quill Elder steal, I guess.
Oh, there we go.
Because this goal deficit means that even if you land every single combo that you can dream of, it's probably still not going to be enough. Infernal Drake means that if even a single member of DRX stay alive, they can blow you up within seconds. They're going to have complete control of the map, and as Fredit Brion, you're just going to be stuck sitting in your base. And stuck sitting in your base didn't used to be the biggest deal, but then Riot Games invented the Elder Dragon to prevent the LCK from having long games. Hasn't quite worked yet. We still find a way sometimes, but I don't...
We haven't got to 92 again yet. 71 was definitely way too long, but 92 is absurd.
I don't think that this game is going to go that distance. I don't think it's going to be close, as with the state that DRX is currently in.
I think the only way that this goes way too late is if DRX decides that they don't want to win the game that early.
Okay, yeah.
That's the only way.
No, I agree.
They get to decide when they win.
I think the likelihood of that happening is not high, so I think that we should be spared from that collectively.
Indeed. I say that, but I mean, maybe DRX will find
Don't. No. No.
Anything's possible if you dream hard enough, Chronicle.
Atlas, no. Please. I don't... That's not a dream, that's a nightmare.
That is.
I know Nocturne's in the game, but we don't need to get that deep into lore, okay?
I know you can dream for things. Can you have a nightmare for things?
Very good question.
Is that the antithesis? I'm not entirely sure. Is Equalizer going to come through just for some reason? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a rumble, but looking for a bit of a flank here. Everyone flashing onto Pyosik. He's going to go golden. He has no equalizer, and he's got 2 stopwatches. He's going to break his second one just to buy a couple of seconds on the map. Don't know whether I'm a big fan of that.
No, we're not. We're not a big fan of that. Not great. Doesn't actually matter though. Pioshik should still be in time to contest this dragon. The rest of DRX is incredibly strong. And should have the lights like, oh, is it the real one or not? I don't know. I don't want to find out. But you still can't move out your base, I don't think. And that's the key thing.
It's
한번
only the
보일
mid
때
inhibitor,
그냥
as we're gonna
이거
have a
보이면
look at this
볼까?
one more
네,
time.
좀 보여 써볼게. 좀 멀리 쓰긴 했다.
Oh yeah, missed the trip.
여기로 보자. 얘부터. 봐줘야 될 수도 있다 이러면.
Crazy call. I don't think that was worth it.
Yeah, I don't know whether breaking your second stopwatch was worth it.
I'm actually talking about the 2 flashes that were invested by Umti.
Right, yeah, that's
Lava there.
also maybe not so great.
Because Drake's up, but Pioshik is just here. So... It looked very cool.
Yeah.
Something.
And look, getting a pick, always good, meant that Fredit Brion were able to get to this position. But the flanking position is just fantastic here from King, and not actually going to pull the trigger too early is the equalizer. Not really capitalized on at all. As DRX still doing damage to this one. It's not a real 50-50. In goes the Moonfall into the backline immediately. The Rumble and the Nico are dead now. Jet fishing for that kick, but they're not quite able to get the kills that they're looking for. Taeyoon, though, he's got a lot of damage. And remember, this is Infernal Soul. It's massive value, but Henna is still alive now. Kingen looking for that backline as Hoya going to get tidied up in the end. And DRX, thank goodness the wallets were heavy, because that was way too close.
I thought that it was gonna be the nightmare scenario, but it's not. The dream is still alive. The DRX are gonna be able to push through the win here. But my god, if Taeyoon doesn't smurf that fight there at the very end, Atlas.
Yeah. Man, or if the Infernal Drake didn't exist, then maybe it would have been different as well, as that was way too close. But DRX will bring us to a game number 3 to keep their 2-0 against Fredit Brion alive here in the LCK. And of course, Fredit Brion would do it. They take down our top teams and then lose to DRX once again.
I need to recover from that final fight, because when Umti started it off with a double kill, I was kind of terrified, Atlas. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. That was, definitely, it was definitely a thing that happened in that game, as there was certainly some nerves from DRX, causing things like the equalizer and then lack of follow-up and things like that. DRX needing to be a little bit more decisive. However, they were still so strong, and the early game was played out very, very well, especially by Pioshik and his movements around the map, denying Umti any access to the game.
And what I was happy